Good afternoon. My name is Ella Westbury, and it is my pleasure to serve as MC for this afternoon's concert. I'm a 2022 graduate of Cane Bay High School, and I was a four-year member of the Cane Bay High School Symphonic Band. I'm honored to MC this afternoon because one of these men is my favorite band director ever, and the other one is my dad. We will open today's concert with In Living Color by Taj Copley. In his program notes, the composer writes, 2020 brought the world to a pause. With the global pandemic of COVID-19, so many of life's simple joys were taken, including the opportunity to perform music. To me, music is one of the greatest means of communication. When it was taken away, the language of music became foreign, and for some, a passion for the subject disappeared. Now, as the world slowly takes its turn again, a love for music has grown. Through separation, we grew stronger. I wrote In Living Color as an ode for live music, especially music performed on the wind band stage. The piece offers a kaleidoscope of colors and energy for modern jazz artists such as Snarky Puppy, American Boy singer Estelle, and takes inspiration from George Gershwin. Please help me celebrate life and all the small things that lead to big things with In Living Color. Please welcome my dad, Dr. Ryan Westbury, to the podium to conduct In Living Color. Symphony for Band was commissioned and premiered by Clark Metz and the Washington University Band at the MENC Convention in St. Louis on April 16, 1956. According to the composer, it could have been titled Symphony for Winds, following, as it did, his Symphony No. 5 for strings. Persichetti, however, did not wish to avoid the word band, which he felt no longer had the connotation of a poor quality of music. In the autumn of 1964, Journal of Band Research, he wrote, "Band music is virtually the only kind of music in America today, outside of the pop field, which can be introduced, accepted, put to immediate and wide use, and become a staple of the literature in a short time." The slow second movement is based on Round Me Falls the Night from the composer's hymns and responses for the church. Please welcome Mr. T.J. Shank to the podium to conduct the second movement of the Persichetti Symphony for Wind. Cane Bay High School is very fortunate to have a percussion class that meets every other day where we can focus specifically on percussion music and techniques. Today we would like to highlight the wonderful music of a local teacher and composer, Mr. Matthew Kilby. Matthew Kilby serves as the director of percussion at Fort Dorchester High School. In addition to writing this wonderful work, he will be joining the Cane Bay High School Percussion Ensemble today on drum set, as the work calls for more than 9 percussionists. We are all very grateful to Mr. Kilby for working and performing with our students. In his program notes, Mr. Kilby writes, "The pocket-sized funk machine is a malfunctioning musical box that sputters, often abruptly, into off-kilter funky episodes. Tongue-in-cheek absurdist bebop lines, some brief moments of Jacob Collier impressions, overlay serious minimalist harmonic language and off-kilter whirls around the circle of fists, derail established grooves." Please welcome back to the podium Mr. T.J. Shanks to conduct the pocket-sized funk machine. Night in Tunisia was composed by the great Dizzy Gillespie, a South Carolina native and a hero to most trumpet players, including Mr. Shank. Mr. Shank will even tell you that the solo break in the original recording of A Night in Tunisia made him fall in love with jazz in the 9th grade. A Night in Tunisia was released in 1942, and it has since been covered by countless jazz artists. It is notable for switching back and forth from Latin and swing styles, a bass line in the A section that avoids the standard quarter note walking bass pattern, and a B section that has an unresolved 2/5 taken from another jazz standard, Alone Together. While the original recording has a trumpet melody, today's arrangement will feature the instrument section of choice by both Dr. Westbury and our guest conductor, Mr. Jonathan Hernandez, the saxophone. We will also feature 2 trumpet soloists, sophomore Grant Corday and freshman Angelo Gonzalez Quintero. Mr. Jonathan Hernandez began playing the saxophone at Creighton Middle School under the direction of Mr. Darrell Burke, and was a student at AC Flora High School for 4 years under the direction of Mr. Shank, where he performed in the symphonic, jazz, and marching band, and also where he served as drum major his senior year. He is a graduate of Charleston Southern University, where he also served as drum major as a senior. Student taught in Berkeley County at Westview Middle School with Mr. Ronnie Ward, and at Stratford High School with Mr. Todd Smith and Mr. Josh Arts. Following student teaching, Mr. Hernandez was named Director of Bands at Cane Bay Middle School in 2021. And before you take the podium, Mr. Hernandez, your high school band director wanted me to tell you that he is incredibly proud of you and that the Cane Bay Band and community are incredibly blessed to have you. Please welcome to the podium Mr. Jonathan Hernandez to conduct A Night in Tunisia. in 2017 was the 2019 winner of the Susan Oswald American Bandmasters Association Composition Contest. In his program notes, composer David Beidenbender writes, "This piece is about the unquiet hours, the times when sadness, doubt, anxiety, loneliness, and frustration overwhelm and become a deluge of unceasing noise. When the distant din of the past and the steadily approaching uncertainty of the future grow closer and become louder than the present moment. When the world swirls and churns like a hurricane of discord and anger. And this piece is about finding peace inside this noise. It is about listening, it is about being still, and it is about empathy." Musically, there is one central idea in this piece, a fixed idea around which everything centers. This idea is repeated and varied, even meditated upon, slowly changing color and shape, becoming increasingly tumultuous until eventually returning to the quiet stillness of the opening. The title comes from the opening line of George William Russell's poem, The Hour of Twilight. Before we perform, Mr. Schenk would like to thank the members of the Symphonic Band, as well as all of his other students at Cane Bay High School, for helping him through his unquiet hours. While the pain and struggle of over 100 rounds of chemotherapy have been awful, you have all been there as a means of healing and strength, not just as wonderful musicians, but as wonderful young people. If you all represent the future of our world, then the world is in very good hands. Please welcome Mr. Schenk back to the podium to conduct Unquiet Hours. Many pop pieces were selected as all-Japan band competition required pieces at the time, but among them, Disco Kid has been extremely popular and famous. Nowadays, it has been known as a masterpiece of the concert band standard repertoire. It has considered a challenging and unlucky song at the time, and in the junior high and high school divisions of the competition, there were no gold prize-winning groups for this work. This revised version was arranged by Toru Kaneyama following the death of the original composer Osamu Shoji in 2018. We are excited to feature an improvised solo by sophomore Mark Pelagao on the alto saxophone. To close our concert, please welcome back to the podium Dr. Ryan Westbury to conduct Disco Kid.